taken for granted. That's the focus of tonight's angle. When addressing black voters on the campaign trail, President Trump regularly raised a provocative question.
We can never fix our problems by relying on the same politicians who created our problems in the first place. Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose?
Well, it turns out minorities are losing a lot. In Joe Biden's America, they've gotten poorer as their streets have gotten more dangerous, especially in urban areas, and it's tragic.
Regular, everyday people need to be safe. If they're harassing people who are vulnerable and nobody gets involved, it could create a dangerous situation.
I almost got attacked by a homeless man a couple of days ago.
I do worry about the crime and the homelessness and people being pushed on the subway. It's really dangerous.
Now, this is all happening courtesy of Democrat rule, especially in urban areas. Well, tonight from New York, a bastion of liberalism, we see the Democrats' firewall of support beginning to crack. Now, how could it not? Every sane person out there sees the perverse incentives that are created when subway heroes like Daniel Penny are cuffed and charged while deranged psychos are free to terrorize and attack. That's what happened to Elizabeth Gomes.
I don't even feel like I'm the same person that I was 7 months ago after that attack. He just wanted to damage me because he damaged me. He damaged my life. I would never be the same again. I'm not that person that I was 7 months ago. And if I had somebody like Penny around, maybe things would have been different. I probably wouldn't have suffered so much pain and suffering and these things that I go through.
Yeah, she lost one of her eyes. So many hardworking minorities have been victims of hideous assaults committed by career criminals. By the way, career criminals who Alvin Bragg treat as though they were the real victims. Forget the hardworking people. Because in his mind, the streets, the subways, the buses, they belong to the criminals. If you use any of them, you're taking your life into your own hands. Frankly, it's your fault. And if you fight back, oh boy, you'll probably be the one who gets thrown in jail. That poor bodega clerk, Jose Alba, who fought back last July against a thug who would have robbed and brutalized him, he narrowly escaped the same fate as Daniel Penny. Now think about it. All that guy wanted to do, make a decent living, support his family, and come home alive at the end of the day. That there was even a 5-minute-long debate about whether he should have been charged is obscene. Now, thankfully, New Yorkers who've been living in this crime spree were up in arms and rallied to support Mr. Alba, causing Alvin Bragg to drop the murder charges against him. The signs of discontent among minority voters aren't limited to crime. Look what happened after residents discovered illegals were being housed in school gymnasiums. Reports that as many as 20 gyms were going to be used for this purpose.
Give us back our gym. We need it for the kids. Give us back our gym. We need it for the kids. Keep us safe. Keep us safe. Keep us safe.
Now, scenes like this sent city officials scrambling for some type of cover story.
We have exhausted options for traditional shelter sites for the migrants. We are now turning to temporary alternative options like gyms and large open spaces for some relief. We always set up the school gyms as an emergency respite. The word respite means short term, and it means for a place to go to get yourself settled.
How condescending. Yeah, thankfully, we know what respite means, sweetheart. None of this is credible. No one believes what she's saying. Everybody knows that Democrats support liberal immigration policies and that they like open borders because they want votes and their donors want cheap labor. The only force capable of closing the floodgates is an angry and, frankly, energized American electorate. And more blacks and Latinos are beginning to see just how much they had to lose by sticking with the Democrats and, of course, their destructive policies. Now, look no further than what's going on in another left-wing paradise, Chicago. They value fraudulent asylum seekers over their everyday residents.
While this crisis may constitute an emergency for the city of Chicago,
It does not constitute an emergency for the South Shore community.
What's important is that we really establish that this is a humanitarian crisis, and we're here. You're not supposed to interrupt. You're not supposed to interrupt.
I think it would be very fair for every homeless immigrant that you bring in, that you scoop up one of the homeless individuals in our community. I think that would be fair.
Well, you notice there's suddenly an explosion of NIMBYism, as in not in my backyard, please. These people are torqued for good reason. They're feeling the consequences of failed liberal policies firsthand. Of course, they made a huge mistake in electing their brand new mayor, Brandon Johnson, who could actually, if it's possible, be worse than Lori Lightfoot. At his inauguration speech, he compared the death of Adam Toledo, who was killed after shooting a gun at passing cars, to the death of an off-duty police officer named Ariana Preston.
You know, the tears of Adam Toledo's parents, the tears of Adam Toledo's parents are made of the same sorrow as the parents of Officer Preston's parents.
It's a wonder they have any police officers left in Chicago. He, by the way, had the nerve to then show up at Officer Preston's funeral. A complete fraud. But so is the entire Democrat establishment at this point. People like Eric Adams, Lightfoot, they complain about migrants only when the migrants arrive in their cities. Again, it's not in my backyardism. But if they really cared, they'd be burning up the White House switchboards, not trying to pass the buck to Republicans. It's absurd. Meantime, their constituents are left twisting in the wind. They're vulnerable, they're scared, and now some are furious. This all gives Republicans a huge opening. Now, although historically Republicans have struggled with minority voters, this was in large part due to the fact that before Trump, most Republicans didn't even try to reach out to Black and Latino voters. That was a big mistake. But Trump's outreach efforts were far better, and he did improve his support among Black men and among Latinos. That's why the Democrats are so frequently hurling these charges of racism against conservatives and against institutions that value objective merit. As the Angle pointed out last night, their transparent goal at this point is to keep minorities compliant and frightened. Frightened that white supremacists are a bigger threat to their future and their families than a dismal economy, an open border, and skyrocketing crime. Look, this is a lame argument. And if conservatives bother to show up, bother to make their case, bother to stand with the people who are being brutalized, they may just find willing converts who say to themselves, at this point, with things this bad, what do I have to lose? And that's the Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.